What if I told you that the key to unlocking the deepest mysteries of existence was hidden in plain sight, inscribed on a tablet of emerald by the legendary Hermes Trismegistus himself? What if the answer to understanding your place in this vast cosmos, your power to transform reality, and your connection to the divine was contained within just 4 simple words: as above, so below? Tonight we descend into the labyrinthine depths of one of history's most profound and misunderstood axioms. This isn't just another spiritual platitude or New Age catchphrase. This is the fundamental law that governs the very fabric of reality itself, a principle so potent that ancient initiates guarded it with their lives, and modern quantum physicists are only now beginning to glimpse its staggering implications. The phrase, as above, so below, emerges from the mysterious emerald tablet, attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, the legendary figure who bridged the wisdom of ancient Egypt with the mystical traditions of Greece. But this isn't merely an artifact of antiquity. This principle has secretly influenced every major spiritual tradition, from the Kabbalah's tree of life to the Buddhist understanding of interdependence, from the Hindu concept of cosmic consciousness to the Christian mystical traditions. What you're about to discover will shatter the illusion that you are separate from the cosmos around you. You'll uncover why the patterns in your palm mirror the spirals of distant galaxies, why the rhythm of your heartbeat echoes the pulsing of neutron stars, and why your personal transformation can literally reshape the world around you. This ancient wisdom reveals that the microcosm and macrocosm are not just connected, they are one and the same, reflecting each other in an infinite dance of correspondence that makes you both the observer and the observed, the seeker and the sought. Prepare to embark on a journey that will reveal how this hermetic principle holds the master key to manifestation, healing, and spiritual awakening. By the end of this exploration, you'll understand not just what as above, so below means, but how to wield its power to transform your reality from the inside out. To understand the true depth of as above, so below, we must first journey back to the mists of ancient Alexandria, where the sacred and the scientific danced together in perfect harmony. Here, in the greatest library the world has ever known, scholars preserved the wisdom that would later be attributed to the mythical figure of Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great Hermes, a fusion of the Egyptian god Thoth and the Greek messenger deity Hermes. The emerald tablet, from which our axiom springs, was said to be discovered in the tomb of Hermes himself, clutched in the hands of his mummified corpse. Whether literal emerald or metaphorical description, this tablet contained a mere 14 lines of text that would become the foundational document of Western alchemy, Hermetic philosophy, and esoteric wisdom. The second line of this tablet reads, "That which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below," to accomplish the miracles of the one thing. But the roots of this principle stretch far deeper than Alexandria's marble halls. In ancient Egypt, the concept was embedded in the very architecture of the pyramids, which were built to mirror the constellation of Orion, creating a terrestrial reflection of celestial order. The Egyptians understood that the pharaoh's journey through death mirrored the nightly journey of Ra through the underworld, that the flooding of the Nile reflected the tears of Isis, and that the human soul contained the same divine spark as the gods themselves. The Greek philosopher Plato expanded on this understanding with his theory of forms, suggesting that our material world was merely a shadow of perfect archetypes existing in a higher realm. What we experience as reality is but a reflection of these eternal patterns, making every earthly thing a correspondence to something divine. This wasn't philosophical speculation. It was direct insight into the architecture of existence itself. The Hermetic tradition that emerged from this synthesis recognized that correspondence wasn't just a philosophical concept, but a practical tool for transformation. Medieval alchemists didn't merely seek to turn lead into gold. They understood that the transformation of base metals was a reflection of the transformation of the human soul. The laboratory became a temple, and every chemical process became a sacred ritual, mirroring cosmic principles. Jewish mysticism embraced this wisdom through the Kabbalah, where the tree of life maps the descent of divine consciousness from the highest spiritual realms down into material manifestation. The four worlds of the Kabbalistic universe, Atziluth, Briah, Yetzirah, and Asiya, demonstrate how the same divine pattern repeats at every level of reality, from the most ethereal spiritual realms to the densest physical matter. In the East, Hindu cosmology had long taught that the human body is a microcosm of the universe itself. The chakras correspond to different levels of cosmic consciousness. The nadis mirror the flow of celestial energies, and the breath connects the individual soul with the universal spirit. The Upanishads declared, Tat Tvam Asi, thou art that, recognizing the fundamental unity between the individual self and the cosmic self. Buddhist philosophy articulated this principle through the doctrine of interdependence, where every phenomenon arises in dependence upon causes and conditions that extend throughout the entire cosmos. A single flower contains the sun, the rain, the earth, and the consciousness that perceives it. Nothing exists in isolation. Everything reflects everything else in an infinite web of mutual arising. The Christian mystical tradition, though often overshadowed by exoteric doctrine, preserved this wisdom through figures like Meister Eckhart, who taught that the kingdom of heaven is within, and Jacob Boehme, who described how the divine nature manifests through all levels of creation. The very structure of Christian theology, the Trinity reflecting in the three aspects of the human being, the Christ as both fully divine and fully human, embodies the Hermetic principle. Islamic mysticism, through the Sufi tradition, taught that the perfect human being is the mirror of divine attributes, reflecting all the names and qualities of Allah. The great Sufi master Ibn Arabi described how the cosmos is the outward form of the real, while the real is the inner essence of the cosmos, making every created thing a theophany, a place where the divine appears. During the Renaissance, this ancient wisdom experienced a profound renaissance of its own. Figures like Marsilio Ficino, Pico della Mirandola, and Giordano Bruno revived Hermetic philosophy, recognizing that as above, so below wasn't merely an intellectual concept, but a living principle that could be applied to healing, magic, and spiritual transformation. They understood that by aligning the microcosm of human consciousness with the macrocosm of universal principles, extraordinary transformations became possible. The principle even found expression in the emerging scientific revolution. Johannes Kepler discovered that the same mathematical relationships governing musical harmony also determine planetary orbits. Isaac Newton's law of universal gravitation revealed that the same force causing an apple to fall governs the motion of celestial bodies. The Hermetic axiom was being validated by empirical observation, proving that the correspondences between above and below weren't mystical fantasies, but fundamental features of reality itself. Now that we've traced the golden thread of this wisdom through history, let us pierce the veil and examine the true nature of as above, so below. At its essence, this principle reveals that reality operates on multiple levels simultaneously, each reflecting and influencing the others through an intricate web of correspondence. Think of existence as a vast, multidimensional hologram, where every fragment contains the pattern of the whole, and every level of reality mirrors every other level. The above in our axiom doesn't merely refer to the physical heavens, the stars, planets, and cosmic bodies wheeling through space. It encompasses all higher levels of reality, the realm of archetypal patterns, divine principles, universal laws, and the causal dimensions that give birth to manifest phenomena. This is the domain of pure consciousness, eternal forms, and the fundamental forces that orchestrate the cosmic symphony. The below represents not just the material world we can touch and see, but all levels of manifestation: the physical realm, the emotional and mental planes, the subtle energies that interpenetrate matter, and the individual consciousness that perceives and participates in creation. This is where the archetypal patterns take form, where universal principles become specific experiences, and where the divine expresses itself through infinite variety. But here lies the profound mystery that most miss. The relationship between above and below isn't merely one of influence or reflection. It's one of fundamental identity. They are not separate realms that happen to correspond. They are different expressions of the same underlying reality, like waves and ocean, being one water manifesting in different forms. Consider your own body as a living demonstration of this principle. Your physical form mirrors cosmic patterns with stunning precision. The spiral of your DNA matches the spiral of galaxies. The electrical activity in your brain follows the same patterns as lightning storms and neural networks throughout the universe. Your circulatory system branches like river deltas, like the root systems of trees, like the branching patterns of cosmic web that connects galaxy clusters across billions of light years. This isn't coincidence, it's correspondence. The same mathematical principles that govern the formation of hurricanes also shape the structure of nautilus shells and the arrangement of flower petals. The golden ratio that appears in the proportions of your face also determines the spacing of planetary orbits and the architecture of crystals. The Fibonacci sequence that guides the growth of pine cones also orchestrates the spiral arms of galaxies and the formation of weather patterns. But the correspondence goes far deeper than mere structural similarity. Your emotional states literally reshape your cellular structure, proving that the inner world of consciousness directly influences the outer world of matter. When you experience love, your heart coherence patterns become more ordered, influencing not just your own physiology, but the electromagnetic field you radiate into your environment. Scientific research has shown that these coherent heart rhythms can be detected by others nearby, demonstrating how inner states create outer effects. The Hermetic principle reveals why ancient practices like astrology weren't primitive superstition, but sophisticated understanding of cosmic correspondence. The movements of planetary bodies don't cause events in human lives. Rather, both planetary movements and human experiences are expressions of the same underlying archetypal patterns. The position of Mars at your birth doesn't make you aggressive. Rather, the same cosmic principle that expresses as Mars's qualities in the heavens also expresses as certain potentials in your individual nature. This understanding transforms how we perceive causation itself. In the linear worldview, events have simple cause and effect relationships moving through time. But the Hermetic worldview reveals that causation is multidimensional. Patterns at one level of reality correspond to patterns at every other level, creating what appears as synchronicity, but is actually the natural order of a universe where everything reflects everything else. Think of reality as a vast musical composition where every note resonates with harmonic overtones throughout the entire symphony. When you strike one string on a piano, all the strings tuned to harmonic frequencies begin to vibrate in sympathy. Similarly, when you create a change at one level of your being, whether through thought, emotion, or action, corresponding changes ripple through every other level of your existence and beyond into the broader web of reality. This is why personal transformation is never merely personal. When you heal an aspect of your own consciousness, you heal that same pattern in the collective unconscious of humanity. When you align your individual will with cosmic principles, you become a conduit through which higher order can manifest in the physical world. Your inner work becomes outer service, and your individual awakening contributes to the awakening of all consciousness. The ancient alchemists understood this when they declared that the great work, the transformation of lead into gold, was simultaneously the transformation of the human soul from its base nature into its divine potential. The laboratory operations were outer reflections of inner processes. The heating, dissolving, separating, and recombining of chemical substances mirrored the psychological and spiritual processes of purification, dissolution of ego, discrimination between real and false, and integration of opposing forces within consciousness. Every genuine spiritual practice operates on this principle of correspondence. Meditation doesn't just calm your mind, it aligns your individual consciousness with universal consciousness, creating a bridge between the personal and the cosmic. Prayer doesn't just express your desires, it attunes your will to divine will, allowing higher purposes to manifest through your intentions. Ritual doesn't just symbolize transformation, it creates actual changes by establishing correspondence between symbolic actions and spiritual realities. Yet there are layers to this principle that even many esoteric students fail to grasp. Subtleties that reveal why, as above so below, is not just a description of how reality works, but the master key to conscious creation itself. The deepest teaching hidden within this axiom is that the correspondence between levels isn't passive, but dynamic, interactive, and most importantly, bidirectional. While most spiritual traditions emphasize how the above influences the below, how divine consciousness shapes material reality, how celestial movements correlate with earthly events, the complete Hermetic understanding reveals that the below equally influences the above. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions don't just reflect higher patterns, they actively participate in reshaping those patterns. You are not merely a passive recipient of cosmic influence. You are a conscious collaborator in the ongoing creation of reality itself. This bidirectional flow explains the profound mystery of free will within a universe of apparent determinism. The archetypal patterns that manifest as your life circumstances aren't fixed, destinies imposed from above, but fluid potentials that respond to your conscious participation. When you change your inner state, you literally alter the archetypal field that shapes your outer experiences. The constellations of possibility rearrange themselves around your transformed consciousness. Consider how quantum physics has revealed that observation affects reality at the most fundamental level. The act of conscious observation collapses quantum possibilities into specific outcomes. This isn't just a peculiarity of subatomic particles, it's a demonstration of the Hermetic principle operating at the foundation of physical reality. Consciousness doesn't just perceive reality, it participates in creating what it perceives. But the Hermetic teaching goes further, revealing that every level of your being, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, simultaneously exists at corresponding levels throughout the cosmic hierarchy. Your physical body corresponds not just to the earth, but to the entire material universe. Your emotional nature corresponds to the fluid, ever-changing realm of cosmic forces. Your mental faculties mirror the archetypal intelligence that patterns all existence. Your spiritual essence participates directly in the divine consciousness that is the source and ground of all being. This multi-level correspondence creates what the ancients called the chain of being, an interconnected hierarchy where influences flow both upward and downward through every link. When you purify your emotions, you contribute to the purification of the emotional atmosphere of humanity. When you clarify your thinking, you add to the clarity of the noosphere, the mental field surrounding the planet. When you awaken spiritually, you increase the quotient of awakened consciousness available to all beings. The ancient mystery schools taught initiates to work consciously with these correspondences through what they called theurgical practices, sacred technologies that use the principle of sympathy to create changes simultaneously at multiple levels of reality. A properly constructed ritual creates sympathetic resonance between the practitioner's inner state and cosmic forces, allowing personal transformation and environmental change to occur as a unified process. This reveals why certain numbers, geometric forms, colors, and sounds have been considered sacred across cultures. They aren't arbitrarily chosen symbols, but precise correspondences that exist naturally between different levels of reality. The number 7 appears in musical scales, color spectra, energy centers in the body, and levels of consciousness because it reflects a fundamental pattern in the architecture of existence itself. When you work with these correspondences consciously, you tap into the harmonic relationships that connect all levels of being. But here we encounter a crucial distinction that separates authentic Hermetic practice from superficial law of attraction thinking. The principle of correspondence doesn't mean that you can simply visualize what you want and expect it to manifest automatically. True Hermetic practice requires understanding that lasting change must occur simultaneously at all corresponding levels. You cannot create genuine abundance in your outer life while maintaining inner patterns of scarcity. You cannot manifest loving relationships while harboring unresolved hatred in your heart. You cannot achieve spiritual awakening while clinging to ego-based desires. The most profound application of as above, so below involves what the alchemists called the Hermetic marriage, the conscious integration of opposing forces within your own being. Just as the cosmos maintains dynamic balance between expansion and contraction, light and darkness, order and chaos, you must learn to harmonize the polarities within your own nature. This isn't about eliminating one side in favor of the other, but about finding the dynamic equilibrium that allows both to serve the greater wholeness. Your masculine and feminine aspects must be brought into creative partnership. Your solar consciousness, analytical, focused, assertive, must dance with your lunar consciousness, receptive, intuitive, flowing. Your mind's capacity for discrimination must unite with your heart's capacity for compassion. Your individual will must align with universal will, not through surrender of personal power, but through the recognition that your deepest personal fulfillment and the highest good of the whole are ultimately identical. This integration creates what the Hermetic tradition calls the philosopher's stone, not literally a physical substance, but a state of consciousness in which you embody the principle of correspondence so completely that your very being becomes a bridge between heaven and earth. You become a living demonstration of the unity between above and below, a conscious agent through which higher possibilities can manifest in the world of form. The deepest secret of as above, so below is that there is ultimately no above and below. There is only one seamless reality expressing itself through infinite levels and perspectives. The separation between inner and outer, spiritual and material, individual and cosmic, is a necessary illusion that allows consciousness to experience itself from countless viewpoints. But the awakened practitioner sees through this illusion while still honoring its functional value, learning to dance between unity and multiplicity with the grace of one who knows they are both the dancer and the dance. Understanding the principle intellectually is merely the first step. True mastery comes through direct experience and conscious application. The Hermetic axiom, as above, so below, provides you with practical techniques that can transform every aspect of your existence when applied with dedication and understanding. Begin with the practice of correspondence meditation, a technique that builds your direct experience of the interconnection between inner and outer realities. Each morning, spend 15 minutes in quiet contemplation, focusing on your breath as a bridge between the microcosm of your body and the macrocosm of the atmosphere. As you breathe in, consciously receive the life force that connects you to all breathing beings. As you breathe out, offer your presence as a gift to the web of existence. Notice how this simple recognition of correspondence begins to shift your entire relationship with the world around you. Develop what the ancients called signature recognition, the ability to perceive the hidden connections between seemingly unrelated phenomena. Throughout your day, look for patterns that repeat at different scales. Notice how the branching of rivers mirrors the branching of your blood vessels, how the spiral of a seashell echoes the spiral of your galaxy, how the rhythm of your walking matches the rhythm of your thinking. This practice trains your consciousness to perceive the unified field of correspondence that underlies apparent diversity. Create a personal practice of conscious mirroring, where you use external changes to catalyze internal transformation and vice versa. When you desire to cultivate more love in your relationships, begin by literally surrounding yourself with symbols and reminders of love, fresh flowers, beautiful art, harmonious music, but simultaneously work to purify the inner obstacles to love within your own heart through forgiveness practices and compassion meditation. The outer supports the inner, while the inner transforms the outer, creating a positive feedback loop of increasing coherence. Work with the Hermetic principle through ritual and ceremony, understanding that properly constructed ritual creates sympathetic resonance between your personal intentions and cosmic forces. Design simple rituals that honor the correspondence between your inner work and natural cycles. Plant seeds during the new moon, while planting intentions for new beginnings in your life. Release what no longer serves you during the full moon, while physically cleaning and organizing your living space. These practices aren't superstitious activities, but practical applications of correspondence that align your personal rhythm with universal rhythms. Establish a daily practice of what could be called hermetic journaling, where you track the correspondences between your inner states and outer experiences. Notice how your mood in the morning correlates with the kinds of people and situations you encounter throughout the day. Observe how periods of inner clarity coincide with external opportunities for creative expression. Document how your dreams seem to anticipate or process your waking experiences. This practice develops your sensitivity to the subtle ways that inner and outer realities continuously mirror and influence each other. Transform your relationship with challenges and obstacles by applying the Hermetic understanding that every outer difficulty corresponds to an inner pattern ready for transformation. Instead of seeing problems as external impositions, recognize them as perfectly tailored opportunities for growth. The difficult relationship that triggers your abandonment fears is providing exactly the circumstances needed to heal those fears. The financial challenges that activate your scarcity patterns are creating the pressure needed to develop authentic abundance consciousness. This shift in perspective transforms suffering into spiritual alchemy. Practice conscious emanation by recognizing that your inner state continuously radiates outward, influencing your environment in subtle but real ways. Before entering any situation, take a moment to cultivate the quality you wish to experience and contribute. If you desire peace, become genuinely peaceful within yourself before engaging with others. If you seek understanding, first understand yourself with compassion. If you want to experience abundance, cultivate genuine gratitude for what you already have. Watch how this practice of conscious emanation begins to transform your external experiences. Develop your capacity for hermetic healing by understanding that true healing must address corresponding imbalances at multiple levels simultaneously. Physical symptoms often correspond to specific emotional patterns or mental beliefs. While addressing the physical level through appropriate medical care, also explore what emotional healing might support your physical recovery. What mental beliefs might be creating stress in your system? What spiritual disconnection might be manifesting as physical disease? This holistic approach recognizes that lasting healing must honor the correspondence between all levels of your being. The most advanced practice involves learning to consciously participate in the ongoing creation of reality by aligning your individual will with cosmic principles. This doesn't mean passive surrender of personal desires, but rather the recognition that your deepest authentic desires are expressions of cosmic intelligence seeking manifestation through your unique perspective. Practice asking not "what do I want?" but "what wants to emerge through me?" This subtle shift opens you to becoming a conscious collaborator with the creative forces of the universe, allowing you to manifest outcomes that serve both your individual fulfillment and the greater good of the whole. What you've just received is not merely information. It is an initiation into one of the most powerful streams of consciousness that has ever flowed through human awareness. As above, so below is the fundamental operating system of reality itself, the master key that has been waiting for you to discover its true power within your own being. You now stand at the threshold of a profound recognition. You are not a separate fragment lost in an indifferent cosmos, but a conscious focal point through which the entire universe experiences itself. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every action you take sends ripples through the infinite web of correspondence that connects all things. Your personal transformation literally transforms the cosmos. Your individual awakening awakens all consciousness. But here's what the ancient masters knew that few modern seekers understand. This principle only reveals its deepest secrets through direct experience, not intellectual comprehension. The techniques you've learned are not mere exercises. They are gateways to states of consciousness that will fundamentally alter your perception of what's possible in your life. And this is just the beginning. The Hermetic tradition contains layers upon layers of advanced practices that build upon this foundation. There are techniques for working consciously with the archetypal forces that shape destiny itself, methods for establishing direct communication with the intelligence that guides planetary evolution, practices that allow you to participate consciously in the healing and transformation of humanity's collective consciousness. What happens when you discover how to consciously align your individual will with the cosmic forces that are orchestrating humanity's next evolutionary leap? What becomes possible when you learn to read the symbolic language through which the universe communicates its deeper purposes? How might your life transform when you master the advanced hermetic arts that the greatest mystics and magicians have used throughout history? These are not rhetorical questions. They are invitations to continued exploration. The path you've stepped onto tonight extends far beyond what any single teaching can contain. Each practice you implement will unlock new questions, reveal deeper mysteries, and open doorways to even more powerful applications of this ancient wisdom. Your true initiation begins the moment you close this video and take your first conscious step into applying what you've learned. The universe itself will become your teacher, reality will become your laboratory, and your own transformed consciousness will become the proof of what the ancients knew, that you are both the seeker and the sought, the observer and the observed, the one who transforms and the one who is transformed. The Hermetic path calls to those who are ready to stop being passive observers of their lives and become conscious architects of reality itself. Are you ready to answer that call?